What was supposed to be a flawless robbery ended up costing lives, which crossed a line for Mike. But what he never expected was that the truck driver was also about to lose his life because of it. The robbery he planned directly led to Uncle Ding going on a killing spree, and Mike could no longer tolerate it. He contacted his partner Dao Jun to pick out weapons, deciding that Uncle Ding deserved to die. Although he hadn't touched a sniper rifle since retiring, Mike hit the bullseye on his first test shot. He then rushed to a desolate area, and after locking onto his target, Mike began to wait for the right moment. After the White Lion's pit was dug, the unlucky driver was pushed out of the hut. Uncle Ding Ding followed him out, and Mike immediately locked onto the target. However, when he was about to pull the trigger, the inner bridge blocked the target. The truck driver was shot in the head by the twin killers and fell into the pit. Before Mike could find a suitable opportunity to shoot, Uncle Ding Ding and his men walked into the house again, and Mike had to wait for the opportunity again. However, at this moment, he suddenly heard a car horn behind him, and he hurriedly put away his sniper rifle to check the situation nearby. But what he never expected was that the sound was actually coming from the car he was driving. When he came to the cab, he saw that the horn was propped up by a wooden stick, and there was a note on the windshield saying, "Don't kill Uncle Ding Ding." Mike, who has always been cautious, found that his actions were exposed, but there was no one around. Mike couldn't figure out who was watching him from behind. On the other hand, Jimmy and Xiao Jin, who were planning to start a business, were looking forward to a bright future. Jimmy suggested that Xiao Jin put the resignation letter on Howard's desk tonight. This was considered as informing him. The next morning, before he saw the resignation letter, Jimmy asked Xiao Jin to contact the Mesa Verde Bank customers, because Jimmy knew that if Xiao Jin didn't take the initiative, Howard would snatch the customers away as soon as he learned of Xiao Jin's resignation. But Xiao Jin felt that this was somewhat unethical. He refused to accept Jimmy's advice and insisted on the way he thought was right. The next day, Xiao Jin waited patiently at the door of Howard's office for the busy Howard to make Xiao Jin short. But after all, it was a matter of resignation. Xiao Jin requested to go to the office to formally submit his application. Howard also saw the purpose of Xiao Jin's visit and told him not to beat around the bush. Xiao Jin put the resignation letter on the ground, which he had strictly reviewed. Howard symbolically looked at the letter and then directly asked Xiao Jin if he wanted to switch to SC Law Firm, because there is no impenetrable wall in the world. Xiao Jin quickly retorted that he wanted to start his own business. Hearing this, Howard was surprised and happy, probably because he considered that Xiao Jin did not go to his competitor. It does not pose much of a threat to his law firm. He also knew that Jimmy was fired. In addition, Xiao Jin took the initiative to resign, so Howard thought that the two had discussed it. Xiao Jin did not deny this. He told him about the plan of opening a law firm together and promised that he would pay off the tuition that the company had helped to advance. Howard generously said that Xiao Jin did not need to pay it back, and it was a gift from the law firm to him. Then the two exchanged a few more pleasantries and then said goodbye formally. However, when Xiao Jin came out, he heard Howard arrange a meeting with Mesa Verde Bank as soon as possible. This also echoed Jimmy's conjecture. Hearing this, Xiao Jin ran back to the office at the speed of a 100-meter sprint to contact Paige, trying to make an appointment with the client before they met. In the end, hard work paid off, and Xiao Jin successfully made an appointment with the client before Howard. Xiao Jin confidently suggested that Kevin, the boss of Mesa Verde Bank, choose him. He analyzed his advantages in terms of private customization, and they were currently his only clients. Xiao Jin promised that he would devote himself to their case. Although the result of the negotiation was not explained in this scene, when Xiao Jin found Jimmy, who was renting a house, he excitedly shared his victory with Jimmy. Because he was well prepared, he perfectly responded to Kevin's various questions. In the end, without Kevin noticing, Paige gave him a thumbs up, and it was 2 thumbs up, which clearly indicated that Kevin had agreed to entrust the case to Little Jin. Hearing this, Jimmy was genuinely happy for Little Jin, and the two of them began to tidy up their new office. Soon, Howard, who had lost the client, informed Chuck about the situation, because he had secured an opportunity to meet with the client in the afternoon, and wanted Chuck's advice on how to win the client back. Hearing this, Chuck disregarded electromagnetic radiation and prepared to take action himself, insisting that the law firm keep the lights on and that employees continue to use their phones. Everything was kept normal to avoid giving the client a bad impression. Colleagues were surprised to see the usual tea drinkers back to their routine. When meeting with the client, the cunning Chuck didn't push for a hard sell. Instead, he deliberately agreed with their choice of Little Jin, saying that both he and Howard were getting old, and that he was so bored he could only pass the time by reading professional research reports. Although he was downplaying himself and elevating the other party, his words subtly showcased his advantages. With Howard chiming in, the two of them performed like a comedy duo in front of the client. However, Kevin wasn't foolish. He also knew that the two were trying to keep him and expressed his confidence in choosing Little Jin. Hearing this, Chuck replied, "Of course you have confidence, because Little Jin learned from us. No one is more suitable than him." Then Chuck shifted his tone, saying, "After all, your business will expand, and Little Jin alone can't handle such a large workload. If you don't choose us, we won't take on any cases that come from your expansion in the future." He advised Kevin to reconsider a professional team like HHN. I have to say, experience really counts. In the end, Kevin was successfully persuaded by Chuck and decided to reassign the case to HM Law Firm. After saying goodbye to the client, Chuck finally reached his limit with the electromagnetic radiation.